All right, so I had talked earlier in the week about trying to actually put something up in regards to any type of video, really. Um, and I actually thought about not doing it today, considering it's been just a bad day in general. Um, Broke the screen on my phone. The car accident that I was in, the other guy's insurance companies decided that they're only 20% liable, so I've got to find a way to effectively replace three quarter panels on my car without using insurance, because I really don't want my car insurance to shoot up because some asshole hit me. Um, but yeah, so it's been a pretty interesting day. Um, Good news, I do have an interview tomorrow for a new job because my current job is really annoying me. But it's not really why I wanted to talk. I originally was talking about trying to do some stuff about some gaming that I do. Not really a bunch of any of the other stuff that I want to get into, just because I'm in too much of a mood right now to talk about politics or any of that stuff. So whenever I'm talking about gaming, though, I'm not really talking about console gaming. I'm talking about me being a complete and total geek and doing pretty much online role-playing games, chat-based stuff. I used to do live-action role-play, but the only real game that I dealt with that was the Camarilla Fan Club, which got a little too crazy for me to stay involved in. I do another LARP, but I haven't really talked with any of the people that run that to actually talk about any of the details with that. I won't do it without their permission, of course. I mean, they're close friends of mine for over a decade. But one of the games that I did want to talk a little bit about is actually something that I'm currently helping build, and that is a website called Wanton Wicked. I'll actually leave some links to it if you guys would like to check it out. It is a World of Darkness game, if you're familiar with the term. It's a game published by White Wolf that has various different venues that you can play in, and we're actually building a cross-venue game that will involve at least most of the different types of characters that you can play. There's a couple that we're not using just because there wasn't enough interest, or we just really didn't have the staff to be able to build it. And it's been an ongoing process. We've been working on this for, I want to say, about 7 or 8 months now, but most of the pressure has been over the last 4 months. We had some staffing changes. We've had some pushback on some of the concepts that we've put up. So we've had to do a good bit of work. But it's going to be interesting. The setting for it is going to be in Portland, Oregon. We've got a couple people that are actually from out there, so it's not like, the pretend version of Portland where, you've got a couple basic ideas of what might actually be there, so you just kind of fill it in. We have people that have actually done the research and have the ability to keep an eye on it. So a lot of our setting has kind of been pretty mundane and pretty regular towards what Portland actually is. But we're looking at probably going live with that game here from the latest conversation earlier today on the 21st of this month, January. So we will hopefully be able to start getting a bunch of people going with that. It's usually been a robust website. I mean, this is the 5th iteration of the game. And usually we have anywhere between 30 and 60 or 70 players, depending on the actual time frame of it. Sometimes, you know, other websites open up, you lose some people. Other websites close down, you get an influx of people. But we've usually kept pretty busy, and it's a nice system because it's actually going with the premise that you can log on, you can play anytime. Now, you're not going to necessarily have someone residing over a scene. It's a lot of it winds up being what we like to call coffee shop RP, which is just social RP. But it's fairly interesting, and I think that people that like gaming might want to take a look at it and see if it's something that they want to check out. For those that aren't familiar with this type of role playing, White Wolf publishes games that kind of have a supernatural bent to them. Well, supernatural bent. They're supernatural games. Being that you can make a vampire, you can make a werewolf, changelings, as in the idea of like the old Celtic changelings, where you were taken as a person into Arcadia, changed by your time in this mystical land. You come back kind of broken. Mage is another big one there, and there's also what they call Mortal Plus. Well, they just call it Mortal, but we call it Mortal Plus because it's, you know, psychokinetic powers and things like that on just a regular human being. And sorry if you can hear the dog in the background. My wife's going to pick up the kids, so she's whining because her people left. Yeah, it's an interesting game, and we're basing it on the premise that that pretty much something has happened in the past. In our case, a war between the different supernatural factions that kind of caused people to have to say, "Whoa, you know what? This isn't working. We need to make some kind of a treaty," and created effectively an embassy for the different supernatural templates to kind of meet up, deal with problems together as opposed to having to deal with them separately and by themselves. It's about all that I'm going to be able to go into right now, just because this is off the cuff, off the top of my head, and I am still pretty pissed off about the other stuff that was going on. But I'd promised a video, so I'm trying to keep that promise, and probably going to be really horrible quality because I have no idea how to work any of this software. And hopefully you guys can actually hear me. I did a couple sound tests, but God only knows if I'm actually keeping my volume where I originally had it. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to hear more about any of the games. And if you guys do, I will try and put more out here as time goes by. Hopefully with a little bit more planning because, like I said, this is just my thoughts today. Thanks. Bye.